Alrighty, we have overcome some technical difficulties, so I'll get started, and I'll also be conscious of time, as I know the last session ran a little late. And we're slow getting going here, so uh, we'll forego the videos I had planned, but I think I can convey the same information. So thank you very much for taking time to stop by. My name's Jeremy Gavin. My company's Screenfeed. We provide content. We just provide content for digital out of home. Prior to founding Screenfeed, I had a web development company and kiosk company. It launched in 1999, so I've been doing the same type of thing for quite a while. I had a 4-year stint as an art director for the musician Prince, who's from our hometown. And I love creativity and automation, and digital signage is an outlet for me to follow that passion of both creativity and automation. For the last 5 years, we've been building Screenfeed. We provide content to over 100 customers and 40,000 screens, and that's given me an opportunity to learn a lot about different types of business models related to digital signage. And but the one commonality between all of our customers, is they're trying to use digital signage to meet their business goals, and typically those goals usually involve, increasing revenue and lowering your costs. And I think using syndicated content in a smart way can help you with both. So I'll be speaking to those points and just how using syndicated content in a smart way can help you reach that. The efficiency in my business, I look at it, and the businesses of my customers, efficiency usually brings lower costs. Creativity, and I'll use that in a broad sense of a term, so creativity may be the effectiveness of your digital signage content. The reason your screens are up, you spend all the hardware, you've done all the installation, is to communicate some message, and that the effectiveness of that message, I'm kind of using that as a creativity metric, really has a big impact on your increased revenue. I guess before I kind of get into efficiency and creativity, just to create the scope of what is syndicated content, syndicated media. I tried to use the term syndicated media in a lot of my discussions over the last few years because I'd like to see the industry go beyond the ticker, and it has. There's a lot of a variety of types of content you can get in a syndicated manner outside of RSS ticker or sports scores. Some examples here, you won't see the video, but we work with, in the U.S., we work with Westfield Malls, and they've got large 13 by 18 foot panels that rotate in the middle of a number of their malls. And here we're showing, we produce weekly this 5 spot. It's a top 5 list. Here was the 5 top moments of the Pan American Games. Followed after that was a moderated Twitter feed where we were selecting the most interesting tweets that day and every day that get displayed up to the crowd. So outside of news, outside of sports scores and regular data feeds. Another venture we're involved in is bringing dynamic content to retailers. So it's dynamic pricing and products that are the most viewed products on a retailer's website or liked on Facebook get pulled into screens in a local store, showing local pricing and the products that are most interest to their customers. So again, kind of outside the traditional syndicated content. Another piece we do, there's a company called Meijer back in the States, similar to Tesco over here. It's a large supermarket chain. And they actually have produced a weather forecast that plays in store for their store locations every day. So it's very valuable information to the customer, and it's really turned out to be a vehicle to deliver new messages each day because we've got someone speaking to the customer. It's recorded daily. So in addition to the weather forecast, you can mention any sales that are happening. So it's a delivery mechanism to get the message across. They understand that customers don't expect their store to be their weather information source, but when they're in the store, it's valuable information, and information about their products can be delivered at the same time. So just with the broad sense of syndicated media, the use of syndicated content brings a number of benefits. Automated delivery of content, with proper use of syndicated content, you can plug and play, set it and forget it, and every day your screens are updated with new information without requiring a lot of effort from your staff. We've got a customer we just recently started helping who had 2 people that would spend 2 hours every morning updating content, and they've been doing it for 3 years. And they found that they could get the same content in a syndicated manner. It required no effort at all, in their day. So they realized, a smaller production team, or you're able to take your production team that you do have and have them focus on custom content related to your venue. So it's just a better allocation of resources. If there's a syndicated option out there that can be used, you'll be able to have a smaller production team or focus them on content that's more directly related to sales or the messages you need to communicate. Affordable cost model versus build. We recently got some information from a large healthcare provider in the U.S. I think it's the 3rd largest healthcare provider, and they did a cost model versus like a licensing healthcare related content versus having content developed by their ad agencies. And they had both done. They put them out in the field and had the results compared after surveys with customers, and they couldn't find any large impact on the customer experience versus with the content created from their ad agencies versus the content that they licensed in a syndication model. So they saw a drastic reduction in cost by taking advantage of content that's already been built in that case. Again, I tell all of our customers a great playlist is not 100% syndicated content. It should be syndicated content mixed with custom content specific to that venue. And then if you've got third-party advertising in your model, that would take a portion as well. As far as increased creativity, oftentimes you can obtain higher quality content. For example, on the trip over here, I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. I had about a 7-hour flight to London, and I was very excited when I got into the Delta plane and found they had my own personal video player. And I said, wow, look at that. I've got syndicated content I can watch on the way over to London. And really, you can't expect Delta to produce shows and movies, etc. But they're grabbing a number of feeds from movies, TV shows. I actually watched a short video clip from the TED conferences that they've been able to obtain the rights to, and it really improved my customer experience. And which I think was their end goal. And I was happy to watch any advertisements that came along with that because I valued that content. Another benefit of syndicated content, if used correctly, is to deliver a more relevant experience. We've been working on a proof of concept with a LCD manufacturer who has built-in camera technology to their screens to track the demographics of an audience. And I'm sure you've all been made aware of that, how you can track gender, age, etc. Where syndicated content matches well up with that is, take for instance the Westfield Mall. And I guess those screens wouldn't have different cameras, but if you identified your audience in the morning as maybe senior citizens walking the mall for some exercise, you may be able to pass those parameters back to your syndicated content feed and receive dynamic content that's related more towards I guess, interests of senior citizens. In the case of news, it may be more top news, health news, etc. Over lunchtime, it may detect that the audience demographics has changed to a business audience, or older business professionals coming over for lunch to get some things done, and you may change the content in that case. Then you get into the later afternoon, teens coming out of school, you're recognizing a younger audience, and the dynamic feed automatically starts sending more content relative to them, celebrity news, sports news, for example. So you can dynamically shift in more real time what type of content's being delivered. You can open up opportunities to customize. An example here, you can't see without the video, but we have an animated photo trivia piece here, and it would show a 30-second spot that just gives you 3 potential answers and reveals the answer. And you can oftentimes customize content. I guess that's the screen we'll miss, but we had a trial with Foot Locker, which is a large shoe retailer in the U.S., and we took that same photo trivia, and it's just essentially data with images. We just put a new skin on it, and it'll have the Foot Locker striped background with their logo, an intro that appeals to young men. So easily customizing syndicated content, I guess, allows you to adapt to branding or the venue that you're in. Masking older custom content. We find a lot of our customers it's just not economical for them to build custom content on a daily basis or even a weekly basis. And so the ability to have content that's changing daily, even though their ads or custom messages may only change on a weekly or monthly basis, with other content such as news or travel information changing on a daily basis, it keeps their screens seeming fresh, even though the custom content has not. And just the use increases the value exchange with the audience. In the case of the Delta airline flight, again, my experience was increased, and I was very willing to watch the videos they had available for me, and along with the Diet Coke commercials that came along with it. It brings you flexibility. You can try out content and change it. Try it for a couple months, see how it works. If it doesn't work, you haven't begun any new production processes within your business that you now have to shut down and change. You can simply tap into an existing source of content. If it doesn't work, make a change, and you're not out of a large investment from your company. It gives you human resources flexibility. Again, you may be able to have a smaller production staff, or you can outsource that content and not have to have that talent pool within your company. You can adapt to changing requirements. Many times you start a project, particularly in pilot mode. We work with a lot of networks that are launching, and they find 6 months in that they need to change course and adapt their playlist or their content strategy. And by using different sources for syndicated content, you can quickly adapt to those requirements. So a bit about sourcing the content. How would you go ahead and use it? There are a few different models. One is you can leverage a network audience. So we have a lot of larger networks in the U.S. who would go to a content provider, typically a broadcaster or a cable network, and say, hey, I've got an audience of 5 million people who see my network every month. Wouldn't you like your content exposed to those folks? And they do kind of a trade. So it's a no cost to the network. They're able to leverage their viewership to obtain free content. And it's not going to work for every network based on your size, but it's one way to identify whether it's online folks producing video online, or a cable network, or we have a number of local networks that are specific to a metropolitan region who will work out a deal with their local news broadcaster to get the local news or local weather. You're going to tap online sources. You may find a number, let's say movie reviews or movie data or local event information, sort of the what's on content. And you'll find a number of folks tapping into RSS feeds from Google or BBC or CNN. But you really do need to look at their terms and conditions. Most of them will indicate it's not for commercial use. But tapping into online sources is a great way to find syndicated content. There's also a number of content as a service providers serving the digital signage industry that have developed content customized to digital signage that you can tap into. So how to evaluate it? You need to look at how many pieces of content you're going to get. How often does it update? If you're simply just finding a source of content and they've got a set volume of 12 videos, that's not going to last you very long. So you're going to want to find sources that continually update screens on an ongoing basis so you can count on that updating your playlist. You want to make sure you obtain the licensing rights or the person providing it to you has those licensing rights to allow you to use it on digital signage. Often content has different licensing rights based on the medium. And you want to evaluate the content quality and tone. You may find content that you can get at a low cost, but for example, an action sports video may not work well in an office lobby. Integrating into a playlist. Here's an example of a visual of a playlist where, in each case, you'll see. Let's say there's 5 items in a playlist. 3 of them may be dynamic syndicated feeds, and even though the ad and the messages stay the same, every time back through the playlist, the news, the weather, the health information is updating. So your playlist appears to be a little more dynamic, even though it's looping through the same 5 items with the news, weather, and health information changing. A key question to ask is, how do you consume a syndicated content feed? In particular, media. You'll find that quite a few software vendors cannot support daily updates of a video or many updates during a day of a video feed or a JPEG or a Flash file. Most have RSS support, but Media RSS is different. It'll reference a video or an image, and so check with your software provider and see if they have Media RSS support. I've been pushing that as a standard in the industry for a number of years. There's a few here that have added Media RSS support, and it's been growing. But that's one question to ask your software provider, and if they don't, ask them why they don't. Often we find once a customer asks them for that functionality, they'll turn around and build it. So I've tried to breeze through here and talk about the efficiency, how that can bring lower costs, and the creativity that can bring higher revenue. I hope I've met our time period. I'd be happy to answer any questions after the presentation, and there's my contact information as well. So thank you for your time.